After being discharged from the military for disclosing his sexual orientation, a young sailor has a new mission. Jose Rodriguez of El Paso always knew he wanted to serve in the United States Navy.
The military is about honor, courage, commitment, and integrity.
And in 2008, his dream became a reality.
I served a good deployment, 6 months deployment. Did outstanding, performed above average, reached back to dock, and everything was going well for 6 months while we were dry docked.
Until a weekend outing turned into a nightmare.
I went out to a nightclub in San Diego with a female sailor. It was a gay community, and I took a drink from a person I had met out on the dance floor. It was a group of guys, and before I knew it, it was like I had gone to bed.
Rodriguez doesn't remember what happened next, only that he regained consciousness 3 days later in a hotel room with no clothes. Rodriguez says he was drugged and raped.
I jumped into the first cab. I said, take me to the closest hospital.
Soon after, Rodriguez's military career came to an abrupt end. Rodriguez says hospital officials released medical records to a fellow sailor, and that information, which disclosed his sexual orientation, made it to Rodriguez's commanding officers. Rodriguez says he's pursuing legal action against that hospital.
You outed me? Now I'm going to say I'm proud to be a gay man. I did not come out saying you outed me to the military. Now I'm going to stand up and say I am a proud gay in the military. You raided me 3 days before going missing, one of your top sailors on the ship. And now you're going to tell me to stay quiet about being a gay service member? Gays cannot serve in the military? That was not acceptable for me anymore.
Since being discharged under Don't Ask, Don't Tell, Rodriguez has worked tirelessly as an advocate, promoting the repeal of the 17-year-old policy of banning gay and lesbians from serving openly in the military. His work, along with many others around the country, paid off as the Senate voted 65-31 to end Don't Ask, Don't Tell. Opponents of the historic vote say the decision may result in more casualties by creating distractions on the battlefield. Rodriguez, however, says the measure will improve the military.
Let them serve freely. Let them serve openly. Let them serve as who they are. Let's not ask them to lie.
For KRWG, I'm Carlos Correa.
They don't know what I've gone through, and they have no reason to be judging.
A local sailor who was sexually assaulted says he was victimized again when news was spread throughout the ship. The surprising admission of guilt by the Navy.
Covering major news across San Diego. 10 minutes of non-stop news starts now.
It was a brutal attack that was supposed to be kept private. Coming up, the surprising admission by the Navy after a local sailor says he was harassed by his fellow sailors.
I've been harassed, been called names.
Local sailor Jose Rodriguez was sexually assaulted, and he says the entire ship knows what happened to him. Now the Navy has punished one of its own for violating his privacy rights. In a story you'll only see here, 10 News reporter Sharicio reveals who else may be at fault.
Sailor Jose Rodriguez went to this club in Hillcrest for some drinks and dancing, but he says what happened to him that night ruined his career. Now the Navy is admitting it made a mistake.
He's a sailor with a past he wants to forget, but his flashbacks are vividly clear.
Me being forced down, held by my neck, with a couple of hands holding me down and opening my mouth while I'm yelling help.
Jose Rodriguez says he was drugged and then sexually assaulted by a group of men in June. The last thing he remembers was being at the richest nightclub in Hillcrest. He was missing for 3 days.
I woke up in a hotel room without clothing.
He says what happened to him was supposed to never get out, but somehow another sailor learned of the attack and spread the story to his chief duty officer, or CDO.
CDO reported to captain, he reported to your department, and that's how everything got out.
Rodriguez says he's been harassed consistently by fellow sailors and had his job's duties reduced. We contacted the Navy, and in a rare admission of wrongdoing, a spokesman tells me a sailor has been administratively punished for breaching Rodriguez's rights. Rodriguez's attorney, Dan Gillian, believes the hospital he went to may also be at fault.
What I understand is what he's alleging is that the hospital gave medical information to someone in his command, in his chain of command, that was not authorized to have this information.
For now, Rodriguez says all he wants to do is go back to how it used to be, but he says nothing will ever be the same.
They don't know what I've gone through, and they have no reason to be judging.
Rodriguez's lawyer says he can't sue the Navy because it's prohibited by federal law. He does plan on filing a lawsuit against the hospital. In Hillcrest, Charisse Yu, 10 News.
Rodriguez has since been transferred off the ship. The Navy says it's an example of the system working because action was taken after a complaint was made.